ਕੀਤੀ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਖੂਨ ਡੋਲ ਕੇ। ਹਾਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿਤੇ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਫੋਲ ਕੇ, ਕੀਤੀ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਖੂਨ ਡੋਲ ਕੇ। ਵਾਲਾਂ ਸਣੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਖੋਪਰ ਲੋਹਾਏ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ।
ਐਵੇਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਕੇਸਰੀ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨ ਝੂਲਦੇ ਜੀ ਮੁੱਲ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਿਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਪਵਾਏ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ।
ਐਵੇਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਕੇਸਰੀ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨ ਝੂਲਦੇ ਜੀ ਮੁੱਲ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਿਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਪਵਾਏ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ।
ਐਵੇਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਕੇਸਰੀ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨ ਝੂਲਦੇ ਜੀ ਮੁੱਲ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਿਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਪਵਾਏ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ।
ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ। ਆਦ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ। ਡੰਡਾ ਉਤ ਬੰਧਨ ਅਨਕ ਬਾਰ ਸਰਬ ਕਲਾ ਸਮਰੱਥ ਡੋਲਣ ਤੇ ਰੱਖੋ ਪ੍ਰਭੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਕਰ ਹੱਥ। ਤੇਰੇ ਕਵਣ ਕਵਣ ਗੁਣ ਕਹਿ ਗਾਵਾ ਤੂੰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਗੁਣੀ ਨਿਧਾਨਾ। ਤੁਮਰੀ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਬਰਨ ਨਾ ਸਕੂੰ ਤੂੰ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਊਚ ਭਗਵਾਨਾ। हम मैले तुम यूजल करते हम निर्गुण तू दाता। हम मूर्ख तुम चतुर सियाणे तू सर्व कला का ज्ञाता। माधो हम ऐसे तुम ऐसा हम पापी तुम पाप खंडन नीको ठाकुर देसा। माधो हम ऐसे तू ऐसा हम पापी तुम पाप खंडन नीको ठाकुर देसा। जप तप संजम धर्म ना कमाया सेवा साधना जानिया हर राया। कहो नानक हम नीच कर्मा शरण पर की राखो शर्मा। कहो नानक हम नीच कर्मा शरण पर की राखो शर्मा। ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਰਾਜਾਨ ਰਾਜ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ the king of kings ਪਾਨਾਨ ਪਾਨ the son of sons ਦੇਵਾਨ ਦੇਵ ਉਪਮਾ ਮਹਾਨ। ਧੰਨ ਗਰੀਬ ਨਵਾਜ ਪਤਿਤ ਪਾਵਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਤਖਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਵਿਰਾਜ ਮਾਣ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਸੁਭਾਗਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਤਰਸ ਖਾ ਕੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਆ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਆਓ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਦਾ ਬਲੈਸਡ greeting given to us by Dhan Guru Gobind Singh Ji Padshah Ji. Everybody to put their hands together, to focus their minds and say Vahe Guru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vahe Guru Ji Ki Fateh. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Padshah Ji, they said, Aage Avat Singh Jo Pave, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh Balave. Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, when my two Sikhs, when they come together and they see each other, he said, Aage Avat, as you see somebody standing before you, Aage Avat Singh Jo Pave, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh Balave. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Padshah said, that's the way you greet each other, by saying Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Just before starting, I was given many ideas of what to speak about. I was thinking one thing in the car, and then I was approached by about 2-3 people to say, can you also speak about this? Can you also speak about this? And one of the things that stuck out was when they said, can you just start off with, what is a Sikh? Who is a Sikh? The basics of a Sikhi. The basics of a Sikh. Something came to my mind from a Bani that is read in the morning. A hymn that sang in the morning called Asa Diwar. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Padshah Ji, within this Shabad, they explain and they tell us about the essence of a Gursikh. What is the essence? What is that main ingredient that a Sikh should have inside of them? Guru Nanak Dev Ji explained, they said, Simala Rukh Saraira At Dirag At Much. And they tell us a little story first, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, imagine now there's a parrot. And this parrot, it flies over to a tree called Simal. It's a very popular tree in India. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said that Simal Rukh Saraira. Rukh means tree. They said, what is this tree like? Guru Nanak Dev Ji then described this tree, Simal Rukh Saraira. Saraira means this tree is very tall, like a sharp arrow. Simal Rukh Saraira At Dirag. Dirag as well. Maharaji said it's very deep. The roots are very deep as well. At Dirag. At Muj. Muj means it's very wide as well. Maharaji कहते ये जरा रोक्या है भी बड़ा मोटा है भी बड़ा लंबा बड़ा दीर्घ है पादशाह जी कहते and then the roots are very deep as well. They said, and then oye je ave askar. Then they said a parrot looks towards this tree and thinking, look how beautiful this tree is. Look how tall this tree is. Look how wide this tree is. Look at the beautiful fruits on this tree. Look at the beautiful leaves on this tree. So then that parrot's got an ask meaning it's got a hope inside of itself. Thinking if I go over to this tree, I'm bound to get something out of it. The fruit must be so sweet. The leaves are going to be so beautiful to sit on. So this parrot then now starts to fly over toward this tree. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji Padshah said, they said, what happens to this parrot? This is Oye je ave askar jahe narase kit. They said, but then you see that parrot flying away. How does it fly away? In what state? Narase. It's lost all hopes that it came with. It goes away empty. It thought there was these beautiful fruits on it. I'll get something out of it. Fal fikke, full bake, kamna ave pat. But then Guru Nanak Dev Ji Padshah says that fal fikke. Fal means the fruits that was on this tree. The parrot tried to pick at the fruit, and what did it get in return? Fal fikke. It was tasteless. It was bitter. Fal fikke, full bake. Then it looked towards the beautiful flowers on this tree. The parrot starts to eat away at the flower. Fal fikke, full bake. But instead, as it took it down, those petals, it swallowed those petals from that flower. And then Padshah Ji described them to be bake, meaning that it actually made the parrot feel sick. It starts to fly away. it had that hope that it's going to get so much out of this tree, but it flies away completely empty. Fal fikke, full bak kamna, ave pat. They said this tree, even the leaves of it, can come of no use. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatji said, they said, I don't want my sect to be like that. They said, that's not what a Gursikh should be like. That's not what a Sikh of the Guru should be like. Somebody comes towards a Gursikh and they see that they've got a beautiful dastar, a beautiful turban upon their head. Somebody comes towards a Gursikh and they see a beautiful flowing beard, which a Gursikh should have. Because Pehli Nishani Gursikh di Bar Diya is the outside. The outside, Guru Amar Das Ji Paatji said, in which stages do we give ourselves to the Guru? Guru Sahib Ji says, Tan, Man, Tan. This is that's that stage. Those are the stages how you give yourself to the Guru. Tan, Man, Tan, Sab, Saump, Guru ko, Hukam, Manye, Paiye. They said you accept everything that the Guru says. The first way to accept what the Guru is saying to us is from the outside. Tan karke, Srir karke. From the outside, meaning the Guru says to us, O Sikha, keep your hair. Don't cut your hair, and that's the first place that the Gursikh starts. But what is Guru Nanak Dev Ji saying here? Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, but what is the essence of a Sikh? They said, what is the main ingredient of a Sikh? They've got all of this from outside, but they said, just like that parrot, they said, this shouldn't happen. Somebody they look at somebody, they've got a beautiful dastar on. They've got even a kirpan on. They've got a flowing beard. They see from the outside, he fits the picture, person is a Gursikh. And they go over to that Gursikh. Because they feel that they've got something from Guru Nanak, they're going to be filled. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatji said, that's not the essence of a Sikh, what they see from outside, but that's the beginning. Because that's what invites somebody to them. What is that invitation saying to somebody? What is the outside telling them? It's telling them that they've got something sitting inside of them. What is it that they should have inside of them? Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Mithat Nivi Nanka Gun Changyaya Tat. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatji said the Tat, the essence. What is the essence of a Gursikh? To understand this now, I'll give you a little example. Imagine now if somebody gave us something sweet to eat. If somebody had a plate and that plate is full of sweet things. ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਸੋਚੀਏ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਆਖੂਗਾ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕੁ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਛਕ ਲਓ, ਹੁਣ ਉਸ ਪਲੇਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਦਊਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਕਹੂਗਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਛਕੋ. If somebody brings a plate of sweet to us, and what's in that plate? There's gulab jamun, there's jalebiyan, there's chocolates. And then somebody says to us, Mittha shaklo, have something sweet to eat. Imagine this now. You pick up that gulab jamun, and then you eat that gulab jamun, and it's completely tasteless. It's got no sugar inside of it. And you're thinking, and you're saying, you can't call this a sweet dish. You can't call this a gulab jamun. You can't even call this a jalebi. You can't call this a chocolate. It's not even sweet. The main ingredient out of it's missing. It's supposed to be sweet, and it hasn't got even sugar in it. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatji is saying, now imagine presenting yourself as a Gursikh. Imagine somebody coming over to you, thinking that you're a Sikh of Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak said, what is the essence, what's the main ingredient that you can say, yes, I'm trying to become a Sikh of Guru Nanak? Guru Nanak Paatji said, Mithat Nivi Nanaka Gun Changyaya Tat. They said, what is that makes a Gursikh's life sweet? And they said, that is a Nima Pan. And that is if they've got humility. And that is from inside if they are humble. Guru Nanak Paatji said that person that's got humility from inside, that's what will make them look sweet. That's when you'll feel some sweetness from them, if they've got humility inside. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatji said, then yes, then they can call themselves a Sikh. Because then they've got the main ingredient inside of them that they need. That's what will make somebody sweet, is humility. Somebody asked Bhai Farid Ji a question. Farid Ji was a Muslim saint whose writings are in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Somebody said to Bhai Farid Ji, If I want to please God, what is it that I need? What are the ingredients that I need? The question that they asked of Bhagat Freedji was this. They said, Kavan so akhar. Akhar means, what education do I need? What do I need to go and study? Is there a particular scripture that I need to go and study to please God? Kavan so akhar. And then they said that Kavan so gun. What are those virtues that I need to please God? And remember, these virtues that these questions that have been asked to Bhagat Freedji by somebody that is in search of pleasing God. These are the same things, these are the same ingredients that we need to have a successful relationship as well. Whether it be friendship, whether it be a husband and wife, this is what a relationship stands on. They asked the question, this says Nevan, they said, Kavan so akhar, Kavan guna, Kavan so maniya mant. Then they asked Bhagat Freedji a question, is there a special mantra that I can take, that I can just recite again and again, that will help entice God, that I can please God with? Kavan so veso ho kari jit vas ave kant. They said, is there a particular way I need to dress? Is there a particular robe that I need to be wearing? Is there a particular religious dress that I need to be wearing? Maybe a long robe. Is that what it's going to take for me to be able to please God? Bhagat Freedji smiled. And they said the education, they said the study that you need behind you. You're asking, what text shall I go and study? And Bhagat Freedji said that the most important education that you need behind you is to please God. And they said that is never so akhar. The same thing that Guru Nanak Dev Ji said. They said that is never so akhar. That is to learn to become low. Learn to put yourself down. If somebody is saying something to us, to be able to, what's the next thing that comes? Never so akhar, kavan guna. They said the virtue that you need is to learn to be more tolerant. And this is the base as well for a successful relationship. If we want to make a relationship work, Bhagat Freedji says, Never so akhar kavan guna jehva maniya mant. They said, what is that special mantra? They said, be wise with your words. Be careful what you say with this tongue. Because remember, once something is said, it's not easily returned. Just like Padshah Ji says, Bhagat Freedji's Bani again. Bhagat Freedji said that ek fikka na galaye sabna mein sacha tani. Bhagat Freedji says ek fikka, don't even speak one tasteless bitter word towards somebody. Why? Ek fikka na galaye sabna mein sacha tani. Because our true husband Lord sits in each and every heart. Because what did Waheguru Ji do? Everything started from one, from ek. Everything started from one. There was nothing but Waheguru, there was nothing but God. From God came everything, came all this creation. And then God sat back and thought, where shall I build myself a little house now to live? God created everything. God created all of this world that we see before our eyes. And then God thought, well, I need to go and stay somewhere. Shall I make myself a little place? Shall I make myself a little heaven to live in? But then no. What did God do instead? The words that we just heard before, Karta Purk. Karta, the creator. Purk means poured. The creator poured himself into the creation. Eh jag sache ki hai kothari sache ka vichvas. That everything, this creation has come from that true Waheguru Ji. But Waheguru Ji then poured himself into the creation and sits within this creation. God is not separate from this creation. And that's why Bhagat Freedji said, before you speak anything, before you say anything to anyone, be careful of those words that you are going to use. Because that Waheguru Ji sits in each and every heart. Kat kat mein har ju base santan kehe upkar. Kat kat vasi sarv navasi nere hi te nera. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha said that Waheguru Ji resides in each and every heart. And sometimes this gets a little confusing. And we think, I thought on one side that Waheguru is saying that Jalathan Mahira Purya Ravya Vichvana, that he's in the water, that he's in the earth, that God is in the sky, God is in the space, that God is everywhere, God is in the forest. But then, again and again, the Guru tells us that Kata Kata mein har ju base. Again and again, the Guru says, well, that God resides in each and every heart. And on one side, he's saying that God is everywhere. And then where is God? Is God in our heart or is God everywhere? Why is the emphasis more that God is in our heart? Because to realize that God is omnipresent, first we need to realize God within inside of our own self. Bhakt Freed says that Frida aap sawar hai, main milaya, sukh hoye. They said first we need to cleanse our own self. Because we've been accumulating a lot of filth, a lot of dirt we've been carrying from the sins that we have done, from many births that we have been coming. We've been coming, this game has been going on for millions of years. There's been times when Kei Janam Pe Keet Patanga, we've been even little insects. Patanga. Kei Janam Gaj Meen Karanga, we've been things like elephants. Kei Janam Gaj Meen, we've been fishes. Gaj Meen Karanga, we've been deers. Kei Janam Gaj Meen. Kei Janam Pankhi Sarp Hoyo, we've been birds. Sarp, we've been snakes. Kei Janam Haver Birk Joyo. We've been many things. For many lives, we've been traveling. But then Guru Sahib Ji says, Mila Jagadish. But now why has this birth been given to us? Mila Jagadish. Milan ki bariya. Chirankal eh dehe sanjariya. It's not easy to obtain this life. It's not easy to obtain this human form of life. Bhakt Kabir Ji says that Manas Kabir, Manas Janam Dulamba hai, hoye na bare bar. They said, don't think this human life is going to come again and again. We've done something. We've achieved this life. I'll share a little story with you. This is only about 2 years ago. There was a Singh who went to do a camp in Canada. And he has these sessions in these camps. So there's a camp set up for adults, 18 plus camp. He has a session. What he does in these sessions, what he'll do, he'll say, we're going to have a session, we're going to have 2 hours. If anyone's got any questions, then come and ask that question to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And some of the campers, obviously, they've been to the camp now for the first time. Away from the Guru's wisdom. And that is the greatest gift that anybody can ever take away from here. Because the Guru's Bani is full of precious stones and precious jewels that we can take away from here. If we can just try and focus for half an hour at least, and then during maybe the Anand side, or maybe just when the Katha is finishing, then please feel free to give Peta, because obviously even Pachar is run on Peta. But we have no ask, we have no demand. What we do ask for is just a little focus and attention. I'm sharing, just to share this little story with you. Because we're talking about that this life, it's not easy for it to come by, this human form of life. We sometimes take it for granted. There's a Sikh, he does camps, he runs camps, and what he'll do is he'll have a little session in those camps, and he'll say, we'll have a 2-hour session, and if anybody wants to come and speak, anybody's got a question, anybody's got a situation in their life, you can come and ask Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And people are thinking, some of the campers, they're new, they've never been to a camp before, and they're thinking, how are we meant to ask Guru Granth Sahib Ji a question? How is that possible? So anyway, there was a big queue. Loads of Sangat turned up anyway. And some of them, they didn't know how they were going to ask the question to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So some of them are trying to work it out in their head. They thought maybe we're just going to sit here and we ask the question from inside, and then maybe later on in the future, the answer will just come to us. There was one girl in this queue, and she came up, and the Singh said, you've got a question for Guru Granth Sahib? She said, yes. And she said, but how are we going to do this? She goes, how are you meant to talk to Guru Granth Sahib Ji? So, the Singh said, we're going to take a hukamnama. And she said, what's one of them? What's a hukamnama? And then the Singh explained. He says that when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah left his physical form in 1708 in Nandeड़ Sahib, just as Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah was going to leave the Sangat in their physical form, they said that know my form to be Guru Granth Sahib Ji. कहने लगे गुरु गोविंद सिंह जी पातशाह कहते मेरा रूप ग्रंथ जी जान कहते know my form to be Guru Granth Sahib Ji Paatshah ji. Each page of Guru Granth Sahib Ji not to be a page, but know each page to be a limb instead. Guru Gobind Singh Ji said that each part of Guru Granth Sahib Ji is a limb of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. She said, so how are we going to talk to Guru Gobind Singh Ji? She's saying, if you're saying this is Guru Gobind Singh Ji, that this Granth is Guru Gobind Singh Ji, how am I going to ask my question? He said, from that first day, when Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji compiled the Sri Adi Granth and they said to Baba Buddha Ji, the kya siga utthe Guru Arjan Dev Ji ne ke Buddha Ji awaaz lao. They said, let us all hear the voice of this Granth. And Baba Buddha Ji said, wow, I've never done this before. What do you want me to do, Guru Arjan Dev Ji? And Guru Arjan Dev Ji said, I want you to open the Granth randomly from about the middle somewhere. And whatever the first Shabad is, the first hymn that you see, start reading out that Shabad. Baba Buddha Ji did that for the first time as well. That was in 1604. Samta ke karj aap khloya, har kam karavan aya ram. That was the first hukamnama that was ever given to the Sikh Panth. So the Singh explained this. He said, you don't have to ask me the question. You don't have to tell me the question. And she said, no, that's fine. I'll tell you the question. He said, so what we're going to do is, I'm going to just open Guru Granth Sahib Ji's arm randomly in the middle somewhere and I'm going to read to you. And he said, what's your question? She said, my question is, what's the point of life? Why have I been given this birth? I don't understand life. I don't get it. She said, I get so depressed. She said, it gets to me so much. Sometimes I think about even giving my life. I think about suicide because I don't get it. And he said, don't worry, we'll ask Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Even though she's asking the question, she hasn't got the faith that the Guru is actually going to answer it. So the faith isn't even there. Because she's thinking in her mind, well, this is just any old other book, like any old other scriptures. She said, how does the Guru actually speak? But she didn't tell that bit to the Singh. She didn't tell him that she's got no faith. So anyway, as he opens Guru Granth Sahib Ji Paatshah's Ang around from about the middle. Remember, the word Ang means limb. So we don't say the word pages. Because for us, I'll explain how this is our Guru. And this isn't a book. Her question is, why this life? What's it for? What's the purpose? Why have I been given this birth? He opens the Ang. He's been taking Hukamname for about 10-15 years. For his entire life, the Ang of Maharaji has never opened at Asarag. But today, Maharaji's Ang opened at Asarag, which is on 400 something. And whoever takes Hukamname will know. If you open the complete Ang of Guru Granth Sahib Ji is 1430. So normally when you open for a Hukamnama, there will be anything between 500 to 800 where it will open. But today, he doesn't know what happened, his hand slipped or whatever happened, he opened on 400 something. This Shabad, he's never read before as a Hukamnama, even though he's been taking Hukamnama for 12-15 years. So he didn't try and pick anything. As he opened his eyes, he read the first Shabad. And what did he read? Remember her question. Her question is, why have I been given this life? What is the purpose of life? And Guru Sahib Ji spoke in the form of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah said, Pei prapat manukh de huriya, Gobind milan ki eh teri bariya, Avr kaaj tere kite na kaam, Mil sad sangat paj keval naam. What does this mean? As he started to read this hymn, his eyes filled with tears. There's tears rolling down his cheeks. Why? Because her question is, why this life? And he read Pei Parapat, and Guru Sahib Ji said, no, you haven't just got this life off by chance. You've achieved this human form of life. It's the greatest thing that can ever happen to anyone. Guru Sahib Ji said in Bani na Bani Kol Kodiyan, they said that Tan Manas Janam, Pun Paya Ram, Manas Janam, Vad punne paya, manas janam vad punne paya. They said you've achieved this life, you've done something right in the past to get this life. Guru Sahib Ji told her, they said you've achieved this life. Pei prapat manuk de huriya manuk, human, de huriya, this human form of body. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਈ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਮਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਹੁਰੀਆ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਮਿਲਣ ਕੀ ਇਹ ਤੇਰੀ ਬਰੀਆ. Her question was, what's this life for? They said it's now your opportunity, it's now your turn to meet with Gobind, to meet your creator where you have come from, to merge back in with that light. Until we don't merge back in with that light and become one again, our wandering isn't going to end. Like I said, because we've been going for so many births. Janam janam ki is man ko mar lagi kala hua syaho. Guru Sahib Ji is saying that this mind has been traveling for many births and it's accumulated so much filth from the sins that we've done in the past. And sometimes often a question comes and people say that my mind isn't stable, my mind wavers. People ask this a lot of the time. And they say, what can I do to help stabilize my mind? People say, when I sit down to meditate, when I sit down to read Bani, when I sit down to pray, this doesn't matter what faith somebody's from. When somebody sits down and they try and focus and try and connect, but what happens instead? At that point, they're trying to meditate upon the mantra that Guru Sahib Ji has given us as well. Whether somebody's reading Bani, whether somebody's saying Vaheguru, Vaheguru, whichever way, whatever name somebody uses, if there's a Hindu brother sitting here, whether somebody sits down to say Ram, whether somebody sits down to say the 99 names of God that are written in the Quran, whether it be Kareem, whether it be Rahim, whether it be Allah, whether it be Khuda, all these names are beautiful names that have a beautiful meaning. The word Khuda that the Muslim brothers use, that word, it means Khud to paida hoya. Somebody that it means the same as Sapang. The word Khuda comes from the word Khud, meaning Khud to paida hoya. That he's Sapang, he's self-created, Vaheguru Ji is. That God comes from within himself. The word Allah means Allah, Sab to Pehla, meaning Ad Sat, the one that was here right from the beginning before even anything was created. That's what Allah means. All of these names have got beautiful meanings. So Guru Sikh Pyareo, a lot of the time when people sit down in the morning and try and focus, whenever it may be, they try and do something good, they come to the Gurdwara Sahib and they're not able to focus and they say, well, what's the point? My mind isn't stable, my mind wavers so much. What's the reason that it wavers? Guru Sahib Ji says, now you imagine getting a piece of gold, and how do we know if that piece of gold is pure? The only way to test that gold, one of the ways to test if that gold is pure, if you put it in what they call a crucible, if you put it in like a bowl that they use to melt down gold in. So imagine this now, they get a crucible, they get a bowl, somebody puts gold in it, but they're not sure if it's pure gold. And what does he do? And then the goldsmith, he starts to heat up that gold. As he's heating that gold starts to move around everywhere. Bhai Gurdas Ji spoke about this as well. Bhai Gurdas Ji saying that Ashuddha Kanchan pe kuthari tehrat nahi. Bhai Gurdas Ji saying that Ashuddha Kanchan pe kuthari tehrat nahi. ਬੇਨਤੀ ਆ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਚੁੱਪ ਦਾ ਦਾਨ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਬਖਸ਼ਣਾ. So Guru Sikh Pyareo, what is Bhai Gurdas Ji saying? Bhai Gurdas Ji saying, imagine now you've got a piece of gold. You put it in a bowl and somebody starts to heat that gold. And they're saying, Ashuddh. They said, but if that gold isn't 100% pure, if that gold has got impurities in it, what will happen to that gold as you're heating that gold? Ashuddh kanchan pe. Kuthari tehrat nahi, it'll start to move around. That gold is moving around. Why? Because it's got impurities in it. It's not 100% pure. But if you notice, slowly, the more you are heating that gold, it'll start to stabilize. It'll be moving around a lot in the beginning. But eventually that gold will start to settle. It'll get to a point where that gold won't move around at all. Why? It completely stabilizes at one point. It becomes completely still. Why? Because all the impurities have left that piece of gold. It's now left and it's 100%. And it's completely still. It only moved when it wasn't pure. That is the same as our mind. Our mind has accumulated impurity from many lives. And when we sit down to do something positive, when we sit down to meditate upon God's name, when we sit down to jap naam, when we sit down to read Bani, when we sit down, somebody might call it praying. At that time, the mind wanders more. Why? Because there's heat being applied to it. The Guru Shabad is like that heat. It starts to burn us from inside. It starts to burn our sins from inside when we're doing something positive, when we're doing something good, when we're living by the truth. As we're living by the truth, our mind will wander more in the beginning because those impurities are actually leaving our mind. And we're thinking, where are these thoughts coming from? Because sometimes what will happen, there's things that are sitting in our subconscious mind. They start to come up as well. There's some things we'll start to think, well, I'm trying to do my best. I'm doing even more so living by the truth. But now, sometimes I dream and I have these strange dreams. Why am I having them? Why? That means that there's something positive that is happening now. That the heat of the Guru's Shabad, the Guru's wisdom, the Guru's Naam is being applied now. And those impurities inside of you are leaving. But as they are leaving, you're thinking that your mind is going out of control even more so than it normally would. So what do people do at that time? They're thinking, what's the point of praying? What's the point in doing Naam Japana? What's the point of reading Gurbani? My mind isn't even stable. So what they do is for a few months, they do it, they try it, and they say, well, I was told, I've been conned. I thought this product helps me to focus more. My mind is wandering more. So what they do is, a few months later, they try it, and then they let go. And they stop doing it. But they didn't realize that something positive, there's a positive change taking place inside. As the truth is hitting them now, as they're doing something positive, it's burning those negative things that are inside us. But as they're being burnt, as they're leaving us, they start to come up, our mind starts to waver. So don't think that it's something negative happening to you. That's actually a sign to say something good's happening. These impurities are leaving us. That's a sign to say keep going. So Gursit Pyaro, I'm just going to come back. That, I spoke about that why, because I think most people go through that. A lot of people that sit down to try and read some Bani, to try and jap some Naam, to try and meditate, they experience that with their mind playing games with them. And a lot of people, it'll put them off and they actually stop doing that. They'll give up after a few weeks because they'll think, well, my mind's not stable anyway. But remember, the more we do it, the more stable it will become eventually. So Gursit Pyare, coming back. Guru Bhagat Farid ji saying, they said, Nevan so akhar khavan gun jehba maniya mant etre bhane ves kar tavas avi kant. Bhagat Farid ji said, they said, if you want to please God, if you want to have a good relationship, whether it be with your partner, base it on these three things. Because what is it that makes us fail in a relationship? What is it that makes us fail with any type of relationship? It's when one person can't put themselves down. It's not having that understanding. That if one person for that moment is a little garam, as they say, is a little tempered for that moment, is feeling a little angry for that moment. The only way this is going to work is if in that moment, if the other person never so occur, if that person for that moment puts themselves down. Because remember, it's not a competition. It's not a competition to see who can win. And that's why there's so many marriage failures today. Right? Because people aren't willing for that moment just to lower themselves, to let the other person get something off their chest. Just to let that other person, to let themselves just express what they need to say. Okay, that doesn't make it right if they're angry, but that doesn't mean that's the right time to deal with that emotion at that time. And what's the best way to deal with something? Is it to try and challenge them and stand up at the same time? and speak at the same tone as they are speaking? Or the best way is what? Somebody asked a great saint, they said, what do we do to make this world a better place? They said, look at this world, what it's becoming. What's the first, what can I do? I want to help people. I want to go out and reach out to people. And he said, the way to change this world is to change yourself. He says, if you change yourself, if you become that better person, what you are seeking out of people to become, if you become that first, you've just changed a part of the world. You are a part of this world. By this one being changing, once that person changes, and then how does that person change others then? Should he have a desire to go out there and try and preach and try and convince people? Is that the way to do it? No. We should build our own virtues up to such an extent that we become like this beautiful vase full of these beautiful fragrant flowers. That vase that is full of these beautiful flowers, it doesn't have to sell itself. It sits there, the colours are beautiful. Somebody walks past and they can take the fragrance from it. Somebody's drawn to it, they go to it themselves to try and take a little bit of that fragrance inside. We need to become like that vase of flowers. What is the vase? The vase is our body. What are the flowers? The flowers are the virtues inside of this. This isn't my own little creation. This is Guru Granth Sahib Ji's words. Guru Granth Sahib Ji says that guna ka hove vasala ka devas leije. It says saanj kari je hai gunahe keri shod avgan chaliye. We should become like that. We should become so fragrant that we become in ourselves so calm. We find contentment inside of ourselves that when somebody's sitting around us, they can't help but feel calm themselves. That's the way to make the world into a better place. It's first for us to find that peace inside of ourselves. I was making that point. Why does the Guru keep emphasizing that God resides in each and every heart? Because if we are to realize that first, Bhakt Faridi says, Farida aap savare, when you start going through that accumulated, all that the impurities from the sins, once we start washing them away, once we start going below that, and we start to realize our true self, Guru Sahib Ji asks us a question. This is Kittu Upaje. He says, where have you come from? Who are we? Are we this body? Are we this body that we think when we look into the mirror? Or are we more than that? This body Gursikh Pyareo jo upajeo so bin sahai. Paro aaj ke kaal. Whatever is born will leave one day. This body is very temporary. Even in this month's teaching given to us by Guru Arjan Dev Ji in Bani Ko Barama, Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, Jit din dev bin sasi, tit vele khesen pred, pakad chalayan doot jab kise na deni ped, shad khlote khine mahe jinsyo lagga het. What does that mean? This body that we've got so much pride in. The people that we try and please in life and we hold back because of. There's people that hold us back from progressing forward and living a righteous life, in living the way our Guru wants us to live. We're afraid to look a certain way. We try and fit in with society. Remember, we should never forget that when we stand up in Ardas, what are we saying to this Guru? There's a paragraph in the Ardas when we all stand, there's something that we beg from the Guru that we sometimes don't realize that we're even begging for that. When we take part in the Ardas, we're all asking for this collectively, and we're saying, Baksho ji, Sikhanu, Sikhidan. Remember one thing, this isn't just a Granthi Sahib saying these empty words to the Guru. Ardas means, remember, everybody collectively standing during that time. And whoever calls themselves a seeker of the Guru, whoever gives themselves that label, remember when we stand in the Ardas, what are we saying? We are saying, bless me with take pity on me. Baksho jo Sikhanu Sikhi daan. Give me the gift of Sikhi. What is the first step of me taking? What is the first way of me embracing Sikhi? Guru Sahib Ji says, if you want Sikhi, then what do you need? Kehde Sikhanu Sikhi daan, kes daan. Kehde Sikha teri Sikhi hi kesa tu shuru honi hai. Guru Sahib is saying that your Sikhi will start from case. The first thing is when you take on that identity that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachaji said about when they were 9 years old. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachaji, 9 years of age. Bhai Jeta Ji brings back the cease, brings back the head of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Sache Padshah Ji. From Delhi they bring back the head of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they place it before Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachaji, who at that time was known as Gobind Rai. They put the head of their father in front of this 9-year-old child called Gobind Rai, and they said, have darshan of your father. He's just given his life for another faith. Tilak janju rakha prabh taka kino bado kalu mein saka. That this Guru, such a Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pachaji, many people will sacrifice their life for something that they believe in. But Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pachaji, they sacrificed their life for something, not for a faith that they believed in, but something else that they believed in. And what was that? They gave their life for a faith that they didn't even believe in. But what was it that they believed in that they gave their life for them? They didn't believe in anybody being suppressed. When somebody is being suppressed, and then the Guru says that that's when we stand up. And we'll even stand up for those. That same string, that same janu, that Guru Nanak Dev Ji Pachaji, that same sacred thread that the Hindus wear, that same thread that Guru Nanak Pachaji at the age of 9 as well, that said no to. That same thread Guru Nanak Dev Ji didn't allow for himself to wear. But that same thread Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pachaji, the house of Guru Nanak is like this. Pa kahu ko det neh, neh pa manat an, kahu Nanak sundare mana gyani. Tahib Khan Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji said the house of Guru Nanak is like this. We might not be wearing that thread because we don't have faith in it, we don't believe in it. But if those that have got faith in that thread, if somebody is going to by force try and take that thread off them, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji said, then I'm going to give my life for them. That's what Sikhi is. That's what Guru Nanak's house is. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pachaji, Tilak Janju Rakha Prabh Taka, Tilak, for those that wear that sacred sign on their forehead. Tilak Janju, Janju meaning that sacred thread. Those that wear that sacred thread. Tilak Janju Rakha Prabh Taka, Kino Bado Kalu Masaka. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachaji said, what my father did, nobody else has done. My father gave his life for another faith, to protect their faith, because they were being oppressed by the Mughals of that time, by Aurangzeb of that time. They came back. When Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pachaji, when they took off the head of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pachaji with one strike of a sword, Bhai Jeta Ji brought back the head of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, placed it in the charan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachaji. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachaji says, Kende Pehla Kende Mata Ji nu darshan karwao. Let Mata Nanaki Ji have darshan first. The mother of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pachaji, she came first. She did darshan of her son, but not the complete body, just the head. She looked at her son's head and she said, oh my son, you are as radiant, you are shining, and you are as red as when you used to sit on the throne. She said, I see you with the same shine as you are now, only your head is before my eyes. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachaji said, this is called Mata Gujri, the wife of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji now. Mata Gujri Ji comes forward to do darshan of now her husband. Remember, it's only the head. She saw a complete body leaving Anandpur Sahib, only a head comes back. Mata Gujri Ji comes forward and she looks towards her husband. She puts her hands together and she puts her head down. The Mata Gujri ne akhya, kahnge kende Guru Sahib, aap ji di ta nib ke ta meri vi ant samay tak nib jave. That you made it right till the end. You didn't let your faith waver for one moment. Let me be the same. Let my Sikhi remain until my last breath, and I don't waver as well. No matter what comes my way, let me be able to endure that as well. And then Govind Rai comes. And then the son of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji comes. Guru Gobind Singh Ji कहते oh Jetaya, oh Bhai Jeta, who bought the head of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Padsha. How comes it's only you? How come there's only one of you that has come back? Where's the rest of the Sangat? Didn't anybody else come forward to pick up my father's head in Delhi? Wasn't there any other Sikhs there? Utte koi hor Sikh nahi si? ਤਾਂ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਓ ਭਾਈ ਜੈਤਾ ਜੀ ਕਹਿਣਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਛਾਣ ਥੋੜੀ ਸੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ they might have been but there's nothing to say who a Sikh is because they all mingled in and they all look the same as the others. And then Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah Ji said at the age of 9 ਉੱਥੇ ਫੇ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਬਚਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਬਾਹ ਖੜੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਆਖਿਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਇਹੋ ਜੀ ਹੁਣ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੀ ਪਛਾਣ ਬਣਾਉਂਗਾ ਇਹ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਲੱਖਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੜਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਪਰ ਇਹ ਲੋਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕੂਗਾ ਇਹਦੀ ਪਛਾਣ ਲੱਖਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਹੋਊਗੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੀ
ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨਿਹਾਲ
Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah Ji said at the age of 9 he said now I will give such an identity to my Sikhs that even when they stand amongst millions amongst hundreds of thousands when they stand they will be able to be spotted as a Sikh of the Guru because I'm going to give them such an identity that they'll be spotted from a crowd of millions. Whether they're going to be doing something wrong, they won't be able to run from that because somebody will be able to point and say, look, there's a Sikh of Guru Gobind Singh, he shouldn't be doing that. ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਉਹ ਕਿਤੇ ਗਲਤੀ ਵੀ ਕਰੂਗਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਸਰੂਪ ਦੱਸੂਗਾ ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ he shouldn't be doing what he's about to do because he stands out now. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah ne ਕਹਿ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਬ ਲਗ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਹੇ ਨਿਆਰਾ ਤਬ ਲਗ ਤੇਜ ਦਿਓ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ said ਜਬ ਲਗ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਰਹੇ ਨਿਆਰਾ until the Khalsa remains distinct until the Khalsa remains unique and separate from the rest of the world and stands out. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah says I want you to look different. People say nowadays we need to mingle and we need to just be the same as the rest. Guru Gobind Singh Ji said the total opposite. He said, I don't want you to just be like the rest. I want you to stand out. Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, I want you to look different. They said there might be 1,000 sheep walking that way, but I want you to be that alone lion that walks that way. But what happens, Guru Sikh Pyaro? Imagine this now, you're walking down the road, you're going to your destination, but you're the only one walking that direction and there's 1,000 people walking the other way. In the beginning, you knew you was going the right way. But when you see 1,000 people walking that way, you'll still doubt yourself to think, am I going the right way? You'll even stop and you think, maybe I am supposed to be just going that way. Maybe it's me that's got it wrong. There's going to be many times, but remember what Guru Gobind Singh said. He said, if you be that separate one, the whole crowd might be lying. Because they feel that's the only way at that time not to stick to the truth. But remember the words of Guru Nanak, "Jhoot na bol pande, sach kahiye." Guru Nanak said, no matter what happens, if you truly are somebody that is wise and found in a wisdom, then no matter what comes your way, you won't lie. You'll always stick to the truth. This tongue, you just won't allow it to speak falsehood. That is what it means. The whole world can be walking one, the whole world can be looking one way. But a Guru Sikh is that said, my Guru told me to stick out, and if I do stick out, what's my Guru going to give me in return? Because that's what a Sikh asks. A Sikh said, well, if I'm going to do this, what are you going to give me? And you know what? The Guru never leaves anybody empty. If we do that for the Guru, if we stick out from a crowd, whether a crowd is telling lies and we are the only ones standing by the truth, if everybody else for that moment is drowning in greed and feels that they have to go out there and do fraud because they feel that's the only way they're going to make a profit in their business by dodging the taxman. But a Guru Sikh is that has faith in the Guru and said, I'll be that unique one and I'll leave the result to my Guru. And the Guru said, what is the result? Today there's youth, we see people and they feel that if we look this way, if we do this to ourselves, if I shape my beard maybe in this way, that's what's going to make me look better. That's what's going to make me more attractive to the opposite gender. Because that's one of the reasons why Singhs cut their beards. Guru Gobind Singh, have we ever asked Guru Gobind Singh Ji, How about if we just do what you want us to do? What are you going to give us? Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, Tabla Khalsa, Jabla Khalsa Rahe Niara, Tabla Tej Diyu Main Sara. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi said, you're trying to look better by trying to do whatever you're trying to do to yourself. But Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, they said, if you remain unique, they said, then Tabla Tej Diyu Main Sara. Tej means power. Tej means radiance. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi says, I'll give you my complete attire. My entire radiance that Guru Gobind Singh Ji said that I've got, I give that to you. This is all I want you to do is remain firm and remain unique. He said, I'll give you all the power that I have. And that radiance that Guru Gobind Singh Ji had, that radiance that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi Ji had, Namo Andhkare Namo Tej Teje, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi was the radiance of all radiance. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi Ji even made the sun look dim when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi Ji sat. Namo Surj Surj Namo Chandra Chandre. Guru Sikh Pyareo, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi da ona ro, ona da lo. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi, Guru Sikh Pyareo, ona da tej, eho ja tej. Suraj vi ona de samne Guru Sikh Pyareo, o vi ਧੀਮਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਪਾਚ ਦੇ ਚਿਹਰੇ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ. That Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi Ji had such a presence that Bhai Daya Singh, Bhai Taran Singh used to say that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Pachi Ji, we don't want to get up from your charan. That your presence is so immense. Essence of Sikhi. We've got to start from the outside, tan, and then we give our mind as well. Because our outside appearance will help us to dip from inside. Tan man tan, sab saamp gur ko hukam maniye paiye. A Gur Sikh is that person. Guru Ramdas Ji Pachi Ji said that Gur Sat Gur Ka Jo Sikh Akhaye So Palke Oth Har Naam Te Aave. Uddam Kare Palke Prabhati Ishnan Kare Amrit Sarnaave. Upades Guru Har Har Jab Jape Sab Kilvik Paap Dokh Leh Jaave. Fir Chade Divas Gurbani Gaave. Behendiyan Uthdiyan Har Naam Te Aave. Jo saas graas te aaye mera har har so Gur Sikh Guru man paave. Many people ask the question and they'll say, who has that right to say that I am a Sikh? Guru Ramdas Ji Pachi Ji said, everybody has got their own interpretation. We can ask people and somebody will say, well, I think it's if you're born in a Sikh household. Some people will say, well, maybe it's only when you actually take Amrit. And some people will say, it's when you do what the Gurus are asking you to do. Guru Ramdas Ji Pachi Ji tell us. Guru Ramdas Ji Pachi says, Gur Sat Guru Ka Jo Sikh Akhai. If you want to call yourself a Sikh of the Guru, they said then the first thing that you've got to try and do is Uddam Kare Palke Prabhati, that you make an effort, Uddam Kare Palke Prabhati, to rise early hour in the morning. Uddam Kare Palke Prabhati, Ishnan Kare, you bathe, Ishnan Kare Amrit Sarnave, then you drown yourself in Amrit Sar. Sar means pool, Amrit means nectar. In the nectar of God's name, you drown yourself in the pool of God's name by reciting and calling out to God. They said that's you can at least then say, I'm trying to become a Sikh. If he's at minimum doing that. Remember the key word isn't that what, how, and then we're thinking, how about then if I don't end up waking up for 2 days early in the morning and I don't get to do this? Guru Ramdas Ji Pachi said, look, he said, as long as you're making an effort, his path is about at least making an effort and taking those small steps in whichever way we can. So the benti to all is this, that to learn Gurmukhi, number one. To learn the Guru's Akhar. To learn the Panti, to learn Gurmukhi, to make these steps. Uddam Kare. It's not that it's not that if we've got to achieve and we're actually doing exactly what the Guru is saying that makes us a Sikh. It's that we're trying at least. How much of an effort have we made to learn Gurmukhi? How much of an effort have we actually made to keep our gaze? Have we even got an intention to give up alcohol? I'm not saying that if somebody hasn't given up alcohol, they've got no right to call themselves a Sikh. But if we go by what the Guru says if there's no even attempt, then the Guru says then we've really got to question ourselves. Should we still call ourselves a Sikh of the Guru? Does it then make sense? Guru says, I'll embrace those that are at least making an effort. And remember, making an effort and taking realistic steps. Realistic steps, not taking such a jump that we then fall within a week and then we're not able to maintain that. Somebody's waking up at 7 o'clock and thinks, well, tomorrow I'm going to get up at 3 o'clock every day. Somebody drinks a bottle every weekend and thinks, that's it, I'm going to finish, I'm going to stop straight away. There might be a few blessed, privileged people that are able to do something like that straight away. But most people, they'll have to actually give themselves a jogati, a way of how to start trying to come off that. And Guru Nanak Pachi says, if you want to survive on this path, to survive on this path, there's 3 things that we need. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Bhai Gurdas Ji said that, Bhai Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, he said that is Guru Sangat Bani Bina Duji Ot Nahi Hai Rai. And they said, first, where do we get everything from? We get our wisdom from the Guru. Second of all, we want to try and meet those type of Sangat. We want to try and meet that type of Sangat, Guru Sikh Pyareo, that is connected to the Guru's words, the Bani. We need the Guru, we need the Bani, and we need Sangat. If we feel that we can survive on this path without good Sangat, it's not going to happen. There's something else that we say in the Ardas at the end. Without that, we can be reading Gurbani, we can be doing everything, but without that, it's hard to contain it and keep it in a bowl. Guru Sahib Ji say, what did the Khalsa Panth collectively decide that is going to be said towards the end of the Ardas? They Sikha, they said, ask for this. Say pyare mel jina milya tera naam chit aave. If we ask for this, if we say, oh Guru Sahib Ji, that say pyare mel jina milya tera naam chit aave, let me meet those type of people in my life. We should have this ardas. We should do ardas to our Guru that let me meet those type of people that are going to help me to remember the truth, that are going to help me to walk the path of truth. So to summarize some of the things that we've gone through today, the essence of a Gursikh is that they've got humility inside, and that's what will make them sweet. That is the sweetness of a Gursikh, is humility. Their outside form is inviting people, just like the Nishan Sahib. If you see the Nishan Sahib, when it's windy, you can see it moving. What is the Nishan Sahib saying? It's actually calling people. It's saying, come to the house of Guru Nanak, because in the house of Guru Nanak you'll be fed. Deg, deg, jag mein do chale. ये दोनों चीज़ां चलनियां इत्थे जग विच गुरु गोबिंद सिंह ने कहा इत्थे देग भी चलूगी इत्थे तेग भी चलूगी. Deg meaning the sword. In this house you'll find the sword. What does it mean that you'll find the sword in this house? If somebody runs into this house, somebody will stand by them and protect them. And you'll find the deg here, deg meaning food here. That's a duty, the minimum duty of a Gursikh is to feed people and is to shelter people and help them and to support them. And that's what a Gurdwaras and a Nishan Sahib is saying. Outside, it's calling people. And that's the same thing this Dastar is saying. This Dastar is calling people. It's the same, this is a Nishan Sahib as well. It's calling people to say, inside, this, I am trying to live by my Guru's word, and I'm trying to live by humility. And it's saying that I will stand with you. If you need me, I will be here to support you. As much as I can do, even if I have to eat less, I'll take food out of my plate to put food in your plate. How this call kamaya. Gursikh thoda sabe, thoda hi khave. Bhai Gurdas Ji said that a Gursikh is that person that eats less in which way? Is thoughtful that I'm going to be given to others as well. So that's the importance of both. We don't want it to be that somebody sees this form and comes up to us and all there is bitter words inside of this body. We don't want to be like that symbol, that tree that Guru Nanak Dev Ji described, and people come to us and then they're disappointed by seeing this form. So both have got its importance just as much, the internal and the external. And then let's become like that beautiful vase full of virtues inside of us, where people can be around us and they just can't help but take that fragrance. Become like that sandalwood. Like Bhagat Kabir Ji says, O pi chandan hoye rahe base jo chandan paas. Bhagat Kabir Ji says, Santana shade santi je kot ke mile asant, mile agar poyangam bedyo ta siital ta na ta jant. So, itni ak beintiya parvan. Just to tell you a little bit about our organization. We've got a channel on YouTube which is called Basics of Sikhi. The way it was started about 3 years ago by somebody called Baljit Singh. And somebody challenged him, didn't challenge him, but challenged Sikhs on YouTube. Somebody put out a challenge about, I think it was about 3 questions. I think one of them was that, was Guru Nanak a Muslim? There was a few questions like this. And nobody kind of stepped up to the job, and a few months went past, and then somebody called Baljit Singh from London, he made these few videos from the office that he worked at, and the replies that he gave was received very well by Sangat, not only by Sikhs but of other faiths as well. And after these 3 videos went out, the Sangat requested and they said, we need this education, because it was in simple plain English, and the truth is that most Sikhs today that are born and bred in these countries don't really understand Punjabi in depth. What's been said in the Gurdwara, they're not able to follow, they're not able to understand. So because it was in simple English, people asked and requested, can you make some more videos? People started giving him ideas. Can you talk about this subject? Can you do this? And with the grace of Guru, that it grew so much. Now we're an established charity, registered charity called Everything's 13, meaning that everything belongs to God. We're now 11 full-time employees, and we're even opening a school now to train people, to educate people about Sikhi. We've got over 1100 videos on our YouTube channel, Basics of Sikhi. They're very well organized on playlists. You can go onto the playlists. If you want to follow a systematic course, there's courses on there. If there's about 400 common questions, there's a Q&A section in our playlist. So there's 400 to 500 questions already answered. So you can check out that as well. So very organized. We're doing a lot of work now up and down the country. We run courses as well. If anybody wants to book us, they just go and email our bookings email. You can get the details. We're going to be on the stall as well after this. So if anybody's got any questions, if anybody's got any one-to-one personal questions, collective questions, if you want to come as a group, we're not going to run away, because Guru Nanak didn't ever run away. Because Guru Nanak said that what should happen in the Gurdwara, Guru Nanak said, Gyan Gosht Charcha Sada. Shabad Tun Uthe Tun Kara. Guru Nanak said that what should happen should be a two-way opportunity, a conversation, a dialogue. Once that delivery, the talk has been delivered, there should be an opportunity for Sangat then to ask anything that they didn't understand. Because as you saw, I didn't really have a plan as such when I was speaking. It was a bit of a roller coaster, the talk. And the reason for that is because I had so many different people planting seeds inside of me before I did the talk, saying, can you talk about this, can you talk about this, can you talk about this? Everything that I had planned kind of went out the window, and it was kind of driven by the seeds that were planted in my head. So if I have said anything to offend anyone that was outside of the Guru's mat, then I do ask for forgiveness, because we're not here to hurt anybody, but our job is simply to try and spread the Guru's wisdom and what the Guru says. Open your hearts to this Guru, and this Guru speaks. How does this, just one little thing, as I'm going to say, as I'm finishing off, the last thing I want to say is, how does this Guru speak? Don't take this to be a book. That girl's story that I told you, when the Guru told her her answer direct, she broke down into tears. She said to that Singh, let me tell you the truth. She said, the first day when I came to the camp, when you was throwing petals on Guru Granth Sahib Ji, when the Panch Pyare was standing in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, she said, in my mind I thought, what? This is empty ritual that they're doing. She said, I thought, why are they treating a book like this? She goes, but today I understand, this is Satguru Jagata Hai Deo, that this Guru sits just like Guru Nanak sat back in 500 years ago. This Guru speaks to us today as well. Gursikh Pyareo, open your heart to this Guru, have a relationship with this Guru, and this Guru will speak to you. There was a Singh, in his mind, he came to ask a question to the same Singh. The Singh he was joking around with him. He said, it's not like you to turn up here to ask a question. You don't even pay attention in the lectures. He said, what's up with you? He went all serious. He says, this is my situation. He goes, I've been neglected as a child. He goes, my parents, he goes, they've given me no attention. He goes, it feels like I've grown up alone without anybody. He goes, I feel lost and broken. He goes, who do I turn to? Because why has this happened to me? The Singh filled up from inside. He opened Guru Granth Sahib Ji's arm, and the Shabad, as he started to read out the Shabad, Guru Sahib Ji said in the Hukamnama, his question is, I've been neglected, I feel hurt, I feel alone. Who is there for me? And Guru Granth Sahib Ji replied and said, Sabna ka maa pyo aap hai, aape saar kare. The words of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Sabna ka maa pyo aap hai, that Waheguru Ji, God, the Guru is the mother and father himself of all. Aape saar kare, he takes care of all himself as well. That was the Hukamnama that came. Can it get any more direct? Open your heart to this Guru, and the Guru, you take one step, Charan Sharan Guru Ek Penda Jai Chal Satguru Kot Penda, Aage Hoye Let Hai. You take one step to this Guru, the Guru will take 1,000,000 steps to come and receive you and embrace you. So आओ इतनी बेनती प्रमाण करनी है, एक नहीं पर अनेक ही गलतियां हो गई हैं, अनजान बच्चा समझ के माफ कर देना. सो आओ सारे ने गाज बाज के राल मिल के सारे ने बुलानी फतेह. वाहेगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहेगुरु जी की फतेह.